fabric that you see on the ground, they're not just pieces of fabric, they symbolize something. They symbolize women's slavery. Millions of women in the Iran and other Islamic-stricken countries have to wear this. You know what happens if they don't wear it? They kill them, they put them in prison, they humiliate them, they torture them. This is nonsense when they say hijab is nothing, it's just a type of clothes, it's just a piece of material. It's not. Thousands of women in Iran, they are in prison, and they have been in prison since 30 years ago just because they didn't follow the Islamic dress code. That's the only reason. Thousands of young girls, many of them been raped by the Islamic guards, and many of them we don't even know where they are. Their family are still wondering where they are, where their graves are. So that piece of material does symbolize lots of things. Does symbolize slavery, does symbolize the situation of women, because women under the Islamic laws are second-class citizens. They have no right whatsoever. Do you know how it feels like to be under this piece of it? I was when I was very, very young. And I had to wear that. I couldn't even breathe when in the summer when I was going to school. I was kicked out of the school because I was actually wearing that, but not as they wish to. Many of young people, that will happen to them. When you are under the hijab, no one can see your smile. No one can see what you look like. Are you a human being? What are you? You are invisible in a sense. You are invisible. They're saying that we actually impose hijab because we believe that protects you. Nonsense. They actually make you invisible as Taliban did. They force women to go inside the houses. They actually put black paint on their windows so no one can see them. We don't let that happen. They say that women in Iran, they all have chosen to wear hijab. That's nonsense. That was 30 years ago when the Islamic regime came on the power and they attacked women's rights, and they said you have to wear hijab. Thousands and thousands of women came to the street of Tehran and they said no to hijab. They said we haven't had revolution to go back again. We want our freedom. The freedom in the society is meaningful when you have women's freedom, when you have women's rights. So even from the very beginning, women said no to hijab, and we are here because we want to echo that voice. But we shouldn't be the only one. You guys, any of you, I'm sure your heart beats for human rights, for women's rights. You should consider yourself as part of that movement that is on the street. Look at these pictures. Look at the picture of the woman that there is blood on her face. Why is that? Just because that woman wants to live, wants to have a life worthy of a human being. Just because that woman wants to go on the street of Tehran or just wear what he wants to. If you go and walk on the street like that, they would shoot you. It's outrageous in the 21st century. It's a shame to humanity to tolerate something like that. But the funny thing is not that there. Look at the mosque in the Whitechapel. They have different entrance for women and men. They're segregating women right in the city that we live. How can we tolerate that? The Islamic regime on the power in Iran, it's a main cause. 30 years ago when they come in the power, they actually reinforced it. They actually supported all the Islamic groups, all the Islamic regimes. We are here. If we believe in humanity, if we care for humanity, we should do something about it. From tomorrow, I should ask myself, what am I gonna do about it? That not to see little girl, as 4 years old girl, walking on the street with hijab. Who asked that little girl to have a choice or not? Does the little girl know what is that choice? No. They impose it on him. If you see a little kid with a knife, you would say, oh, that is so dangerous. Let's call the police. Let's call the social services and take the kids away. How come you don't do that for hijab? Because that's a mental abuse. We don't see that. But we have to stand for it. So if any of you hear that hijab is nothing, it's just a way it's a way of clothes or whatever, the response should be no, that's a mental abuse, that's humiliating women, that's an insult to women. We have to do something about it. I ask all of you to join the movement that at the moment is going on in Iran for women's rights every day on the street. There is a struggle for that. And also this movement that's happening in so many countries. Join us. Come and sign our petition. Come and just give us your email so you would know about upcoming event and just to see what we can do. Their voices in Iran is loud, but they need to be louder. They need your voice. It has to be joined together. So we force them to stop torturing women, abusing women, to stop 30 years of crime against women, crime against humanity. Long live women's rights, long live International Women's Day. Thank you.